Hello there. How's everyone today? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you are all. If you're new, my name is Mary, and welcome. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see here, and I hope you do. Okay, so as we move on, guys, this is part two. This is part two of the Diddy trial. There may be a part three coming up. So, and if you missed part one, please go back and take a look at that. It's very interesting. So, I've already laid out my cards, guys. First of all, I want to say for entertainment purposes only, I'm only listening to my guides, reading the cards, and everything is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so let's get started. The As we know, the first video I talked about a little more about the prosecution side. So now I want to talk about the defense side a little bit because they chose not to call a single witness. Um, I'm sure it was calculated. It was never, ever just about Diddy. We know that he is just a sacrificial lamb. He is the easiest one to take down. And then this is my feeling. Um, for many reasons. For many reasons. So, um, as I pulled the cards, I was just fascinated by what came up because I have this is unusual, except for I have the Emperor in reverse. But these cards are major arcana. So it may take a little longer because I want to really do a deep dive into this. And I do have my notes here. So if you guys see me looking down, I want to stay on track. So I figured they aren't just protecting a man. What they're doing is protecting a system. So I'm going to look first at the first card which came up, which was the devil. And I feel like, here's the devil card, guys. I feel like at the root of this silence, them not calling anybody, is that they want to keep. Well, let's talk about the devil. The devil is about control, addictions, contracts, and not even just physical, but also spiritual. Because you got to have both the light and the dark, the good and the bad. And the devil, even though these things are inside of us, is the other side of the good. So this card kind of helps to tell us about what's being hidden, the manipulation, the level of the manipulations, and also the culture that's built around all of this exploitation. And this culture does not only involve entertainment, but other things as well. So starting out with this devil, when it comes to the defense, and it's like they're trying to control what happens in the trial, because we all know that they don't want to talk about everyone that's involved, which was one reason why they didn't call any witnesses. Now, of course, they didn't have to call any witnesses, guys. Just to be honest, they didn't have to call any witnesses because the prosecution has to prove their case. And maybe they feel like the prosecution didn't prove their case. That's possible, of course. So, but we know that this card tells us that what's being hidden includes dark pleasure, ritual control, and soul level manipulation, period. Okay. So, and it's not just about entertainment. So the next card that came up was the Emperor, but the Emperor came up in reverse. So we got the Emperor in reverse, and I feel like this Emperor in reverse, it talks about people in leadership. And I'm feeling like high level leadership, possibly corporate executives. Can't put anything past them, right? Political allies, or it's just a legal protector for who's been operating from the shadows. In other words, who's a part of what's been going on with Diddy. This is why they're in the reverse. Okay. And if the defense witnesses spoke, some people could be exposed. Bottom line. So they didn't speak. And remember, the defense said they had so many people in the beginning. I guess it was like probably the last week of the trial, and then the prosecution said there was no way they could get all those people in. So, what I'm wondering is if they had any people, or what that could have been just strategy, guys. We got to look at it as just strategy too. Maybe they were just trying to scare the prosecution. Okay, so then the next card, let's move on. The next card up is a tower, and we know what that means, that things are going to come down, things are going to fall. Um, so this could be another reason why they didn't call. They avoided any testimony at all. Of course, they kind of put it out there that maybe Diddy, or this was going around on the internet, that maybe Diddy might speak also. But of course, we know that didn't happen. That was nobody really thought that was going to happen anyway. That was crazy. Why would Diddy get up there? They always tell you not to. A person like defense doesn't want their client to speak because the other side has to prove their case. But it was being put out there that he may, and all this kind of stuff. But one of the reasons, like again, it was avoided any witnesses is because even if one wrong name came out, it could bring the entire structure crashing down, kind of like the domino effect. Okay. So, we're talking about media moguls, we're talking about the gatekeepers, of course, all the celebrities that may be involved, politicians, you know, just think about it. A lot of times, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of times when people get up there in the clubs where they're millionaires, billionaires, they all work together, they all hang together. We saw the parties. We saw pictures of the parties, of the white parties, at the parties. We heard what Cassie was saying and all that kind of stuff. So all of it could be unraveled in court. So the silence wasn't weakness as far as the defense goes. It was more like damage control. They wanted to make sure they stayed in control. So then we had the high priestess. It's the high priestess. And she shows us who's still being silenced, because you remember she has her scroll in her hands, and she has all these, all this information on the scroll. So we know that there are still people um, being silenced. We're talking about the women, not only the women, but in this particular case, the men also, just the victims in general. And all of the intuitive voices, people know people know what happened. Somebody told somebody or whatever, but those people will never be called to testify, not on the defense side, anyway. And the public has a deeper knowing that something has always felt wrong, um, with having all these power moves in all these different spaces and places and things. So spirit says the feminine truth is still alive, even if it's ignored. And at the where we're at now, we're talking about the rise of the feminine. So I feel like eventually this high priestess showing up, eventually that scroll is going to be open and we're going to find out more information, more about the names that they're trying to keep from coming out. One name, just one name, could bring down the whole thing. So they want to ignore it. So the last card that came up, guys, is finally the Judgment card. And the Judgment tells us about the truth. And the truth won't stay buried. It never stays buried. Eventually it comes out in some manner. Sometimes they hide things. They'll say, well, we can't talk about this for 50 years or whatever, just like the JFK kind of thing, 30 years, 50 years, whatever. But eventually it'll come out. It can't stay buried, whether it's leaked, like through emails, future lawsuits, or just even energetic karma. Don't forget about the karma. Okay. So the real story is going to surface. And when it does, it won't just affect Diddy, it'll shake up the whole system that they're protecting. It's going to shake up the whole system. So as we talk about this spiritually, what's really being protected? What is really being protected, people? It's not just a man, but it's the people behind the man. He's just a little sacrifice. I think we all know that by now. So it's the people behind the man, it's the money, it's the reputations, it's the legacy of the secrecy. A lot of secrecy, guys. A lot of secrecy. So, which the high priestess is holding on to right now, for now. So, spirit is clear, guys. Even if the courtroom doesn't tell us the whole story, the truth is coming anyway. And of course, this takes me to using my pendulum. And I have to ask the question, Spirit, is it true that other names are being protected in this Diddy trial? Yes, so true. Spirit, will we eventually get to hear some of those names? Yes. So, it's not over yet, guys. It's not over yet. But we'll see what happens. We'll hang in here and see what happens. It would have been nice, but like I said before, we didn't really expect Diddy to testify, and I think the defense was just playing with people, especially playing with the prosecution, saying that they had so many witnesses. I hope you guys will hear that one too. If you haven't listened to part one, go back. It's all going to come full circle and connect. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next read. Have a good evening.